that everyone, you just get the Alan Partridge, you get the Toru. I'll make it all wrestling ready. You get the Toru Yano shrug when anyone mentions WWE. It's like, yeah, it's Apple. It's making money in spite of itself. He doesn't need to make good content, and that's the case for me anyway. I don't know about you, Mike.
No, you nailed it perfectly. And this is a conversation we've had privately, that we're very much in a day and age where there are wrestling fans and there are WWE fans. And I think that's the big difference for things in general now. Like, there are, I'm into MMA. I was listening to Ariel Helwani's MMA hour that's just restarted now that he's left ESPN and all that stuff. He's working for BT Sport now, and he's going to be covering some of SummerSlam this weekend, which is pretty cool. But his kids have just got into wrestling the last 18 months or so, something like that, and they love WWE. They started going to see WWE. Obviously, he used to work for Fox, so there was a tie-in there with SmackDown being on Fox, and they don't care about AEW because they've taken that WWE route into professional wrestling. So I think now you really are seeing that divide of people that have watched it out of habit, and we've seen them slowly kind of trickle off over the years. But you're just getting you are getting younger fans in replacing that. But people that get excited for wrestling, I think, are veering down other routes. They're watching Impact, they're watching AEW, they're watching New Japan, they're watching Ring of Honor. There's so many places out there doing such good stuff that how can you not be excited for everything outside of WWE?
Yeah, I have
to agree with both of you. To be honest, my one, the one thing I wish I did have was more time to watch more wrestling, because there's so much good stuff out there. I don't have time to keep up with it all. I mean, I'm still halfway through the Triple Mania show. Still haven't watched that New Japan show, so no idea what happens there.
I've got that.
Resurgence was a good show.
I've got that saved on my computer to still watch. I mean, I've got it on my New Japan World, totally legally.
Thankfully, now it's on English commentary. Although Fight TV had loads of streaming issues with the show.
On
Saturday night.
Again, massively out of myself on how I watched Triple Mania. I was like, there was English commentary for Triple Mania.
The one I saw, it sounded like the commentators were commentating to the live crowd. It had this horrible kind of arena effect to it.
Very weird.
Oh, it was. I said this to Mike. It sounded like they just wanted to save money, so they decided to just skip on having a ring announcer and just have them have live mics, so they could just ring announce as they were commentating.
The ring entrances were so long. That was the one thing I took away from that show. Is why are the ring entrances so long and just consistently going on and on and on? But yeah, Resurgence was good. Ishii versus Moose was a meat-slapping fest in many ways. Jay White had a match where there was no outside interference, which was very strange. A very, very good match against David Finlay. Tanahashi versus Lance Archer was brilliant. Weirdly, to me, the worst match on the card had Jon Moxley in it, which I don't think happened since he left WWE.
That's because everyone was massively let down with who his partner was. Everyone was like,
I was fine with that.
And it turned out to just be Nagata, which is fine, but
there's a wrinkle to the story where, like I was saying to you recently, that I learned through Talking Shop, that Nagata was Carl Anderson's senpai. So that wrinkle to the story was quite nice, but the match just wasn't exciting in the slightest. It was it's mental to say, but it was the worst match on the card for me.
Well, speaking of Moxley, let's see how he fares against 7 other competitors here in this match. We're going to get going. Let's just jump straight into it, shall we?
This is the AEW Dark match for SummerSlam.
Yeah.
Just something like that.
This is the match held in the car park of the Vegas venue on Saturday night. Saturday night.
Is Dave Meltzer refereeing? Of course he is.
That's
Dave
Bryce
Meltzer.
Remsburg. It's supposed to be.
Oh, it looked like Big Daddy Dave.
Looks a bit like Jimmy Corderas with the.
All elderly white
it
men.
can't be Uncle Dave because he's not got enough paper around him.
He's used that much paper that it now orbits around his being at all times. I am paying attention, by the way, guys. I'm just promoting your stream, Reese.
I mean, there's a fair bit of
You are the table.
acting's kind of all over the place here. Fast pace action. But I feel sorry for Bryce Remsburg. Actually, how is he going to keep up with all of this?
He's reffed 2 invisible people wrestling.
He has.
I'm sure he'll be fine.
That was very exciting match, very entertaining.
Match of the year.
Is that on YouTube now? I'm pretty sure.
I'm not sure.
Put it up for free. I think you can watch that on YouTube now.
Have I ever told you that I have the Invisible Man's wrestling figure?
I believe you have told me in
I'm pretty sure I've told you. Yeah, there was some guy that does like custom figures, but he does them in like larger batches, and he created a full-on like Invisible Man one. So I've got like just a shell of a box for the Invisible Man. It sounds ridiculous, but like I just think it's the best thing ever. He also did one of the British Bulldog Kid, which I sadly didn't get a chance to get.
Wait, I thought you were taking the piss to begin with from where that story
No,
was
like,
going.
I'll send you a
longer you
picture
went
now.
on, I was like, hold on, I think he's being serious here.
No, this is a shoot, brother. Oh yeah, do you want to hear the breaking news that I saw on Twitter just before we went on air?
No.
Like, should I break? Well, yeah, fuck you then. No, I just saw that OnlyFans have announced that they are going to prohibit all sexual content on their site. Therefore, this is the end of OnlyFans.
Oh,
wow,
no,
that's pretty. Didn't see that coming.
How dim do you have to be like how dim do you have to be to literally go, we're making billions of dollars on something, let's stop doing it?
It's probably an exit strategy more than anything.
They're going to be sold to someone. Google. We'll get Google sex.
They're watching what WWE are doing. They are.
What, are you going to say that OnlyFans is going to end up on the network?
Probably will end up. Well, OnlyFans on Peacock sells itself.
There we go. They've just got to put like quotes around the word cock and they're sorted.
Like, I will say, like, the
I want to put it
Patreon,
around P as well.
Oh, yeah.
Patreon doesn't have like the best kind of user interface. So, like, you know, like you said, the exit strategy, it could just be that a larger company has just bought them to get their technology.
Yeah, Peacock. Can we just start that rumor that Peacock are buying OnlyFans?
So you have to like subscribe to the various promotions to watch the pay-per-views.
Yeah, that's basically it. I can't wait.
God almighty.
Anyway, there's some breaking news for you. I'm breaking the scoops as we watch this.
You are.
This
The scoop of all scoops.
Like Matty
Oh,
Meltzer.
that makes my scoop sound like nothing.
I can't even scoop an ice cream.
That's because you only have soft serve. That makes no sense. What was I gonna say? I was gonna say that I don't know about you guys, but genuinely, as much as I am incredibly excited for what might happen on Friday or on Rampage, are we all in the same boat that if CM Punk doesn't turn up, it will be the funniest thing that's ever happened in wrestling?
I have seen that tweet about 20 times on Twitter. Oh, what if CM Punk doesn't turn, like...
It'll be hilarious.
It's going to do my head in.
Yeah, but everyone else is doing it like they're going to be really angry. I think it'll be really funny.
I feel like, okay, you know, there is a possibility that could happen because they haven't confirmed anything. And they have been kind of, you know, trolling and playing up to it. But I feel like if that doesn't happen, like if he doesn't turn up, they have to do something else. Otherwise, people are going to be so pissed off. Like if Punk isn't turning up, like Brian has to, or even a bigger surprise like a Lesnar, or even like The Rock. I don't think like The Rock is like, you know, a possibility, but something like that, you know, of that scale.
Can you imagine if Lesnar turns up and does something with fucking Darby? Like, he's literally going to throw him all around that arena at All Out.
Come to All Out to see Brock Lesnar attempt to throw Darby Allin into the sun. Because my favorite thing, actually, I saw this on TikTok and it did make me laugh. Someone did a like a TikTok of them sitting enjoying AEW Rampage. The show's about to begin. Checks phone, finds out that CM Punk made a shock return at the end of Friday Night SmackDown, and I was like, imagine!
Oh my
that would be the
days.
funniest thing ever.
That would be hilarious. That would. So I have been thinking about this, and I've said to you, Matty, loads of times that almost everything that happens with AEW, there's a reason for, and they've been. Do you remember when, like, the latter part of 2018, where we didn't really know what was happening? We all knew that the Bucks, Hangman, Kenny, Cody were out of contract, and then there were all these filings for a company being registered in Jacksonville, and like, we didn't know, like, they didn't confirm it, but we all knew. And I feel like this is that situation. They're not going out there to deliberately mislead people in the way that, you know, they're all like, oh, come on, Cody, when are you going to wrestle for the title? Like, I genuinely, hand on heart, don't think he ever will, because they're trying to make things mean something and, like, actually have fans trust their word.
Well, Cody can, but Stardust can.
Oh my god!
Well, yeah, exactly.
Oh, this elimination! I was about to say, oh my god, did Orange Cassidy just win this 8-way? That would be the best thing ever, but it's elimination at the moment.
Well, Punk's got a bit of ring rust there, it looks like.
I think there's a unique in the storytelling element, and as I said, none of us are like. I'm an AEW fan. I do watch AEW and I don't watch WWE, but also there have been several things that I don't agree with that AEW have done. Like, there's some things I don't agree, but feel free to ask in the comments what you think I don't agree on. But there's the way they do.
You don't agree on them charging $6 for a hot dog at the show, do you?
No, it should be $5.99 and not a penny more. But I like the way they do the storytelling, which is this great mix of good New Japan long-term booking with like a mixture of like ECW style outlandishness, but in the 2020 climate, and then it's a weird one, but Chikara style tying up like having multiple loose ends and then tying them all up again at the end, which is obviously Chikara's long since gone and won't be coming back, but that company was very, very good for that, and AEW are good for that. So everything does happen for a reason. Like I said, the Cody thing, I think we've now seen in hindsight that Cody, he won the NWA title, even if it was for like 2 weeks. He's done what his dad has done, and now he's just going to do the same thing that his dad did, which is semi-retire quite early on, and do booking, because he just wants to be his father's son, which you can't question him on. You can question him on a fucking bunch of other stuff, but you can't question him on that.
That fucking neck tattoo.
He solves racism.
Apparently he did, with his 20-minute promos. I wish Joe was here, because Joe has tremendous joy in dunking on Cody at all times. And they do seem to, and they never seem to tease stuff that they don't follow up on. And I did like that QT Marshall openly said that this company doesn't like the way you were before. This company does like make good on stuff that that it has promised, which is just another massive prick tease from WWE, from AEW rather, which was very, very funny. But yeah, it's just the idea of them doing all this and be like, I've no idea what you're talking about. We never promised. We did not promise that that he was making his debut. All this is just a massive coincidence.
Well, you mentioned QT there. Tall Paul is going to have a match at All Out.
Yes.
What?
The real main event.
Tall Paul.
Oh,
Like,
just.
QT Marshall versus the Big Show on pay-per-view. Like, if that doesn't sell it.
Well, you say pay-per-view. Mike did say to me, and I do agree with him, it's probably going to be on the buy-in.
you reckon?
Yeah, because
I think it's a solid match to put on there.
Yeah, like it's a big name you can put on free TV that will lure people in to watching the show. I think that makes perfect sense. If someone's flicking through the channels, or like I don't know, scrolling through, find stuff on YouTube or see something on Twitter and sees, oh crap, the Big Show's wrestling, they're gonna go on and watch it, and either that's gonna bump the numbers up for the pre-show, and you might get some extra buys out of it because people are like, oh, he's here, and then if this happens, if they lead up with that, with then a massive thing of like, oh, CM Punk's opening the show or something. If they, the smart thing to do would be to have, would to have QT Marshall and Big Show, or no more BS, sorry, Paul White on the buy-in, and then have Darby and Punk, and Tall Paul, G as Tony calls him, and then have Punk and Darby open the show. Because you're gonna pull so many people in off that buy-in if they see, oh my god, Big Show, and then see, oh my god, CM Punk, and then I guarantee you'll get a buttload of more buys, by doing that, which I imagine they probably would. But they do like their fast-paced tag matches.
Yeah,
so
see, I was going to say the one thing that's wrong with that suggestion is that suggested match will go on for longer than like a minute. Like, do you see them putting him with QT because QT's like a good technician? He can, he's trustworthy. He can get a good match out of someone who has kind of semi-retired, and with like the mobility of someone the size of Big Show. Like, if they put him with QT,
well, you haven't seen Dynamite,
or is it just so he's got someone to squash?
Reese, you haven't seen Dynamite, have you? Yeah. Or you've
Yeah,
not, you watched it? Oh no, because they mentioned about the leg, so I'm imagining that will come up, and Big Show will like do some big slams and I'm a giant and all that stuff. And then like QT will get some kicks to the leg, and he'll probably work the leg for 5-ish minutes, and then Big Show will choke slam him. And
the storytelling, I love it.
yeah,
they do the simple thing. Show comes out, QT hits him with a chair on the hip, and we're off to the races.
Oh yeah, all that.
But it's as simple and as age old as that. But that's the way we get into this. That's the way we put Cody. Cody. QT gets a bulk of the match, and then
always about Cody. It's always about
Cody.
Random segue, but do you remember that time Big Show made Drake Maverick wet himself?
Remember the time Big Show accidentally stepped for a table and cost himself a table match? And I made it look like that he'd pooed himself. It was genuinely one of the funniest things I've ever seen.
So was that an accident, or like was that supposed to be the ending? Because that
was supposed to be the ending, but it was genuinely one of the funniest endings to a match I've ever seen. Because he literally was like, "Oh, I made a mistake." It was so funny. The second funniest facial reaction in wrestling, behind Randy Orton nearly killing one of the Singh brothers, making that face. Oh, I've just dropped him on his head. Oh dear. Oh, that was funny.
He's like, I did it, Mr. Kennedy.
I'm going to get fired. Oopsie.
I mean, you see Sting in this match here, because Sting had a match. Sting had a match last night.
Oh, that's not actually Sting. That's Jeff Farmer.
That's a picture of Sting.
No, that is Sting, but it's Sting in a mask of Sting.
Yeah,
aka the best kind of Sting. Yeah, no,
it's not Sting. It's Stang.
It's Stang. I somehow, in some bizarre world, when they do Talking Shop on Mania 3, I want to see at some point, surely he's got to be up for a laugh, and they will do a bit where even they film it backstage and have Stang meet Sting. They've got to have it happen. Even if they film it backstage at AEW, it'd be so funny. Or, to be fair, I imagine Sting at some point, because he works for AEW, will end up back at Impact at some point.
Yeah,
they're surely going to have him go over.
First ever Impact Hall of Famer, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, I think it was Sting. Was Sting the first
or if he wasn't the first, he was definitely the second.
But yeah, no, Sting and Darby had a really good match with 2.0, and I was talking to Mike about this, saying about how NXT, I imagine because of budget, because I imagine people at NXT are pulling their hair out looking at how fast 2.0 just hit the ground running in AEW. Like they went in and were given basically an enhancement. They were using enhancement talent for Eddie, Darby, and Moxley, and they've just turned it into an actual feud. The fact that they're facing, for better or for worse, whatever you feel about Darby Allin, because he's not a particularly nice individual, if social media is led to believe. Oh yeah!
Wow,
he's just,
we've got a winner.
Stang, Jeff Farmer. Yep.
Jeff Farmer.
He's the most Darby's one of the most over people in that company, and Sting is Sting. And they were look at the heat that they battered Moxley and Kingston before their match, and then held their own against Sting and Darby Allin before ultimately losing in a really fun match. I loved it, and I'm so happy because I love 2.0. I loved them since way back when, since Chikara days, that I loved Matt Lee and Jeff Parker. They're so good.
I love the names, just so creative wrestler names.
Yeah. What do you say, Reese? Sorry?
I thought you said Jeff Parker was Sting's name.
No, it's Jeff Farmer. Jeff Parker is his non-union Canadian equivalent.
My name, Jeff.
Also, I love that Excalibur last night just dropped his random... it's never been mentioned before. They just dropped in the... Matt Lee's... What's it? Big Magic. Matt Lee. They just dropped in his random...
Yeah. Just out of nowhere. And it was like,
it was great stuff.
Okay.
Are we doing... Is this your... Are we now going to do your version of the Tag Team Eliminator? Is this what we're doing, Reese?
What's the Tag Team Eliminator?
On AEW Dynamite, they're doing a 14 tournament. And the winners are going to face the Bucks in the cage. I thought you was doing that because you were literally putting in...
No, it's Battle Royal still.
Are we just doing more Battle Royals? Okay.
I was going to say, you might want to save Phoenix and we'll do well,
let's stick it on in.
Yeah, stick on in. You've got Brock, who's going to
I absolutely... this is just a random segue. But I love WrestleMania 18, Flair against Undertaker, and Arn Anderson with a run-in and Spinebusters the Undertaker. So cool.
I love the fact I think that man could be 90 and still hit a clean as fuck Spinebuster.
He still has the best in the game.
What was your favourite match on Dynamite, Reese?
I'm going to have to look back at the results again because I kind of watched it throughout the day. I can't actually remember. I didn't watch it in one sitting, if you know what I mean.
Fair enough. Michael?
Mine was a tag title match. I think it was perfect. It was perfect.
It probably does have to be that, to be fair.
It was shit. But I did love Guevara versus Sean Spears, even though they've run that so many times. That was such a fun match. MJF and Jericho was good.
Yeah, I was a bit.
But it's not like we're saying any of these matches were bad. It's just it's the least good match. We'll go with that one.
Also, the Thunder Rosa Penelope Ford match.
Yeah.
Did anyone else's first thought in that match go, has Penelope lost her gear?
No, my thought was, how have they stayed in that top?
That is also a fair point.
The
wonders
I'll
of
never
tape,
understand that.
The wonders of tape, my friend.
Tape.
In all fairness, there are two people we know, both are wrestlers, that are better to ask that question than us.
Yeah, but this was industrial levels. This must be some tape that's not even available. You gotta get this tape on the black market or something.
It's only available. That's the thing. It's only available.
It's available now at shopaew.com.
It's only available to those who identify as female. If we ask about it, everyone just goes blank. So we will never know the wonders of the universe when it comes to how that happened. But I got really confused. I was like, she normally wears the bright stuff, and she was looked like she was ready for.
Yeah, it was very generic.
Night in the bar. But then again, maybe she wore it because Thunder Rosa was in a bright Texas attire, and I do appreciate the fact that she wore all black because she is a heel. You do need that sometimes in wrestling.
Those things are important.
Last night's Dynamite in Texas because And JR at one point kept talking about Texas, so I wasn't really paying attention.
JR, I don't think JR knows he's on air 90% of the time.
Did you see when JR goes like, oh, and Penelope Ford is married to Kip Sabian, and then he's like, oh shit, I put my foot in my mouth. If anyone at home is the kind of person that keeps track of that, like tried to...
Then Excalibur saved it, where it was like, yes, we saw their wedding on TV.
Jesus, yeah. The thing is, at one point I was like, oh my god, can we just get JR off commentary now? But now I'm like, just keep him on for commentary value at this point. Because it's not, for me, it's gone back.
Where's it going to go this week?
Yeah, it's not gone back. It's not now like a sad man forgets where he is. It's now old man who clearly doesn't give a fuck, which makes it 10 times more entertaining. Because he's not really making offensive mistakes like he did at the beginning. He's now just saying any old shite that he feels like saying.
Yeah. He's living the dream.
Calling out Aubrey on.
Speaking of Aubrey, if he's going to have a tough time at refereeing this match, 8 competitors. You got to have eyes in the back of your head here. Oh, you guys gone. Okay, people on the stream, I think the call has dropped off, so he's stuck with just me for just a second. Let me see if I can
he's
get
come back in
back
here.
on.
Right. I'm quickly going to run and take a pee, alright?
Alright, no worries.
Cool.
You know what happened, mate? I think the call just closed all of a sudden.
Did your stream die? Because Mike said your stream might have died.
Ooh, actually, yeah, looking at it, it does... Has it died? I think it's back. If it did die, it's back on.
Why does this only happen to us? You need to send us the thing again.
Ah, of course. Okay.
Thank you.
You see that? Okay, awesome.
Yeah. Oh, I want that. I want it to be big. There we go. Anyway, yeah, Dynamite. It was a good show.
Very nice.
Was, as it always was. But something I feel like the past couple of weeks, I mean, Rampage last week especially, I thought was a fantastic show.
Oh, Rampage was so good. It was such. I when I had this chat with did Brian Cage hit the draw claw? Nice.
You had a chat with Brian Cage?
I did have a chat, and he just constantly telling me who better, and it was confusing.
Did he keep talking because you know he's got to get his shit in?
Yeah, and he kept telling me about some sort of machine. I didn't understand. No, I was talking to Mike about Rampage, and I said that if they keep up what they're doing, which is Dynamite is the entertainment show, as in that's the 2 hours where you get a lot of the story in, and Rampage is like the sports show, which is interviews and just wrestling. They're going to get a lot more fans in, because there'll be a lot of lapsed fans that just want, like, oh, I just want to see this. I just want to see the action.
I just want to see Big Show squash a jobber.
Yeah, I just want to see action and interviews like it's a sport-based product, and there'll be some people that just want to see all the drama and stuff, and that can happen on Dynamite. I loved Rampage. I thought the presentation, it was fine. A lot of people were moaning about Jericho on commentary. It didn't bother me that much. I feel like
I actually really enjoy Jericho on commentary. Like, I think he's wacky and over the top, and like, I don't know. I think that's maybe the same reason why other people. I think also like sometimes people just don't like Jericho for reasons like outside of wrestling. But as a commentator, like, I think he's very good.
Yeah, like
so much so I see that as like a career for him once he finishes in the ring. You know. Like,
oh yeah, no question. I feel like they'll put him on. He'll be on commentary sooner rather than later, because again, casual fan, if they turn on wrestling and see Chris Jericho and JR on the commentary desk, they're going. Or even if at some point JR steps aside and tries to do more stuff backstage in a few years' time, if they whack Jericho on commentary with Excalibur and Tony Schiavone, people are going to stop, because they'll be like, oh, Jericho, I remember him, and now he's a commentator and stuff. So it makes. And
he's got the appeal for music fans.
yes, he had, with his 2 songs that are good. 2 songs? Enemy and Judas. Is there any others? No, just them 2.
He's definitely got more than 2 songs. I did go and see.
He did have Big City Lights, but I think I actually found out. I think that was a cover of another song.
Well, dude, Fozzy used to be a tribute band, didn't they? They used to just do tribute songs, and then Jericho realized, oh wait, I'm famous. I can actually release my own music. So
are we mixing them up with what were they called? Was it Flaming Mongoose or something like that?
No, Fozzy were a
fake band.
Yeah, with that. No, because Fozzy used to be the lead singer. Used to be Jericho's alter ego of Mongoose. Was it Mongoose McQueen or something?
That's it.
Mongo McMichael.
Never mind that shit. I love Mongo. I told you guys this like as some sort of confession. I turned around and did say, I went, look at this. Watching Mongo's matches on WCW, he does not deserve a lot of the shit that he gets. His matches are really fucking entertaining. It's like
surprisingly good for his ability levels.
Yeah, it's like watching an excitable Labrador that learn how to wrestle. It's great fun. Also, we have the two Rampage and Dynamite have just got 2 weeks of Sammy Guevara gets to do nice things on TV that make him happy. Last week he got to give Fuego a shoot AEW contract for a shoot surprise, and then this week they just let him have a big announcement that he was getting married to his girlfriend, or proposing to his girlfriend, which is obviously lovely stuff as well.
The lovely Pam.
Yeah, the lovely Pam. Even though I want Pam versus Sue. It's the match. It's the match we all need. That could be the second.
As I told you,
no rope bars.
As I said to you earlier, it's our generation's Hogan versus Warrior.
It is. It's the the mega powers explode. Only if we then have Sammy Guevara and Trent on the outside, dressed as their valets, in beautiful sequin gowns. That's what we need.
Yeah, OC is the ring bearer.
Yes. But I don't know whether we'd lose it in all fairness. I'm not sure. He might do. With Orange Cassidy, and feel free to say that I'm wrong on this. Do you feel like they might be now moving a bit too far away from the actual character at hand that he had before? Because he's now very much doing less and less of the OC gimmick and more of the kind of fiery white meat babyface stuff. Am I overthinking it? Is it fine, do you reckon? I just like having him talk more, and I feel like the whole appeal of his gimmick is that he didn't say a lot.
I see your point. I think more than anything, they're not trying. When he was doing everything and was featured so heavily, his star grew so much. I don't think they want that to overshadow the people that are coming in, but then also Jungle Boy's rise, Christian's sort of rise up the ladder there. Somebody like Ricky Starks, whose character's coming out more and more every week that you see him. I think it's just a bit more to do with that, and not like putting him in a story now. And because Trent's not there, they kind of he needs to do a bit more, because you can't give it all to Chuck or include Wheelie Yuta, because Yuta's kind of not really in Best Friends but is in Best Friends. And then you got Statlander, who is just quirky.
It's going to be really funny if they just replace Wheeler with Trent and don't explain it.
Well, Trent's probably going to be gone for like a year altogether. So,
what is
it's
he
possible.
Got like a big injury then? Is he?
Yeah, neck fusion surgery.
Oh, really? I didn't even.
Yeah, he's Austin levels. That's why he's going to be out for the whole year.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, when Orange Cassidy was a star on the Independence, it was one of those things where you don't always see every independent shit. Like, perhaps if he goes out and does a performance, it's only the 200-300 people in attendance in that room that see what he's doing. So it's always very new. Like, that character, like, maybe it just doesn't translate as well onto like a TV audience every single week. It's maybe just grows old, very stale. So they're trying to tone it down a little bit just to kind of prolong its longevity. But I do agree with you, Matty. Like it does feel different to like it did on the Indies, or like it even did at the start. But
yeah, maybe this is like TV OC rather than indie OC, and I'm just not used to it. Like I said, I'm not saying he's like anything wrong with it at all. Like he's still entertaining as fuck. Like the stuff he did with Matt Hardy and Private Party, like is great. Like like everything he does is still so amusing, and he's still one of my favorites. It's just it was just one of those things that I find really interesting when it comes to the old Orange Cassidy.
I think MJF has won here. The clock has stopped. He's not letting hold of that Fujiwara.
Oh,
but he's a garbage human being.
100%.
Very offensive to garbage.
Before we get on to SummerSlam, do you want to talk about? Should we talk about MJF and Jericho?
Well,
seemingly rounding up the
feud.
feuds.
Quickly and say hello to Richard Wright joining us in the chat. What's going on, buddy?
Richard. Because they seemingly wrapped up that feud with MJF beating Jericho clean.
Yeah, it's got to be they're moving. Jericho steps out for a bit now. I think he's actually. Fozzy are still touring at the moment anyway.
But this is the thing, like, there's a lot of moving parts that haven't got matches up. Like, MJF has now just finished a feud a week before All Out. So unless they're gonna... I don't know what they're gonna do with him All Out, because they surely have got to have him on the... Unless he's on the show and... I have no idea. Unless they're gonna do Darby and Punk on Rampage and then do Punk MJF on All Out, but that's burning through 2 feuds quite quickly.
I feel like we're probably going to see more of this now, like the rotation of the roster. Like the roster is it was stacked before, but now it is so stacked. When you think you've got like Malachi Black, Andrade, possibly like Punk joining, possibly Bryan joining. There's Christian, there's Omega, there's Moxley, there's Eddie Kingston, and like even looking at the people here, Phoenix is someone who could be pushing for the main event. So is Penta, Brian Cage. Like MJF he main evented All Out last year. So the main event is very top heavy. I think like they're going to have to do a lot of rotation just to even get people on the card at this point.
Yeah, because like if you look at it this way, because you've got you've got Omega Christian, you've got Pac Andrade, you've got whoever wins that tag tournament against the Bucks in a cage. What else have they announced so far?
The Women's Casino Battle Royale. I don't think that's been announced, but it is happening.
They've not mentioned that once. So unless they're just going to randomly drop it in next week.
It is definitely happening, but I don't
think it's Talander
and
Baker Britt.
Honestly, and here's a wild take. I would not be shocked if next week if they announced that the Casino Battle Royales for the women's title.
No, I don't think they'll do that because they'll do the 21st entrance will be Ruby Soho because her 90 days would have just ended.
Yeah, but that still doesn't mean they could still. But then again, you haven't got to have they could have a suit be full of, like you could have it where it's like they put her in the match and then Ruby's like, oh not Ruby, sorry, Britt's like fine, but whatever suit I'm in, Jamie and Rebel are going to be in with me, so she's got the team advantage. And then you have
maybe.
It would be interesting. And then you've got this thing that's been going around apparently that Moxley's fighting someone from New Japan.
But we say going around, but he cut that promo saying that he'd sent all those contracts back signed to wrestle anyone. So it genuinely could be anyone at this point.
They have to make a lot of matches between on Rampage and on Dynamite next week, and then Rampage on the Friday next Friday. Richard, just to give you a shout out, Tanahashi's in the US, but he's going to be.
No, he's already back in Japan.
Oh, he's
wrestling the day before All Out against Ibushi in the Seibu Dome on the Wrestle Grand Slam show.
But however, Mike, you do. It's the day after.
No, it's the day before. I can't remember if that's the right name for the show. That's all.
No, I remember you said this before. There is someone that will be maybe in the country.
He will actually be in Chicago weekend. I believe he's wrestling for Black Label Pro.
Uppy Tom.
My boy.
Oh, I was going for the other name you said.
Christ, I said about
Mr. Suzuki.
Yeah, see, Suzuki's on the New Japan shows at the end of September, so I don't know if they'll fly him in early and he'll stay in Japan, stay in America for the just the workout at the dojo with the wrestlers.
Imagine on this Friday, if you have Moxley when he faces Daniel Garcia, he's going to beat him probably quite in a good match, but quite handily. The second that match finishes, you just hear Kazane Ninare hit. That crowd will jizz.
The lights
everywhere.
They start the show with Moxley wins. They drop the lights down, and everybody's like, "Oh my god!" But it's going to be Punk. It's going to be Punk. And then they just go into the opening bars of Kazane Ninare. That would be amazing. That would.
You've got to think. I think with Rampage. I heard this on Deadlock, and it is, and I feel like this is Deadlock said this, and I think it should be the only way. Literally, Rampage needs to be cold open, just straight into cult of personality. No foreplay. You just go in, and literally it's just, we're live here in Chicago, static, cult of personality, Punk comes out. It's the only way to start that show.
Is it? Because all you're going to do, you can get people turn off after the first 10 minutes. That's what people that tune in to that show are going to tune in for CM Punk.
Yeah, but think of how fast.
I think you probably drop it in the middle of the show.
I would say, think how fast paced that show is. If they see Punk and then they see Moxley straight afterwards. Yeah, Richard made a good point. It has to be Punk first thing, or the crowd is going to chant it the entire fucking night.
Although I feel like it's a TV show, and like you're gonna have everyone tuning in at the start because they're not gonna want to miss a second. So like by having it as the very last thing, you keep like the viewer
it will be an hour of CM Punk.
So by having it at the very end, you're gonna have people gripped to the show throughout and like really secure a high rating. It will do a high rating every.
It will. It's gonna. I will put money on it now that Rampage is gonna break 1 million this Friday. Guaranteed.
That's interesting because it did 670.
Yeah, and that's every point.
I did see the rating.
Yeah, it was around. It was NXT level.
It was around 700. It was.
Yeah, it was NXT levels, which is fucking amazing for their whatever show, B show you want to call it, but their secondary show. But I agree with Richard. If they don't do it up top, they're going to chant. The fans are going to chant CM Punk the entire night until they get it. So you're better off just putting it out there straight away, showing everyone your big CM dong, and going for it there. And just before we move on, Richard did say, I thought Jericho and MJF was on the show. No, that was on this week.
Yeah.
Pardon me, Dynamite. So fuck knows what they're doing. Unless next week Jericho says he wants a rematch and he's going to put his career on the line, which I did think they could possibly do if they did a fucked finish on the last Labor.
Loser leaves AEW kind of thing.
Yeah, it's like, yeah.
He's going to tour with his band anyway, so like.
Yeah, I was going to say, but I'd say it'd be. They wouldn't do leave AEW. I reckon it'd be you'd have to retire. And I wouldn't be shocked if Jericho retired in Chicago. I would not be shocked.
Yeah,
I feel like
Jericho has just come off working 5 weeks in a row. That's the first time he's probably done that in about 4 or 5 years. To be honest, so like he's probably feeling that big time at the moment, so that's why he'll have time off.
Before we eventually talk about SummerSlam, Richard did just say you can have Punk involved in the closing angle, but he has to be the first thing on the show. Yeah, I reckon you open and you have him. Is Darby wrestling on that show on Rampage? Have they announced a match for him?
I don't think they've announced anything.
No, it's Garcia
and Moxley and the tag match.
The tag match for the Eliminator, and there's one more.
Oh, Kira Hogan against Cargill. So
yeah,
unless you have Punk come out and cut a promo at the start, and then at the end of the show you have Alan challenge Punk, and then you
Uncle
have
Alan.
Uncle Alan. You have Darby Allin challenge him to a match at the end of the show. Anyway, should we talk? Sorry, Reese. Should we talk about them SummerSlams?